We just got our first look at official gameplay for NBA 2K26 with 2 trailers that dropped yesterday. The first one was the official trailer, which people are saying was basically just cutscenes, but the next video was a deeper dive with the courtside report from Mike Wang and Tyrese Halliburton. Now there's a lot we could talk about there. While there's a few things I'm not as excited about, I liked most of the features they said they'll be adding, like better rhythm shooting, custom layup packages, and the quick protect mechanic, but what I want to spend our time on today is breaking down everything we saw when it came to the post game. This section caught my eye the most, and I actually wasn't planning on making this video until I decided to slow it down frame by frame, where I caught a handful of subtle details that you might have missed if you only watched it once or twice at full speed. So let's take a look together, and I'll share what I caught, along with my thoughts about what this could look like once we actually get our hands on the game on August 29th. Please feel free to drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, so the post segment of the video is only about 20 or 30 seconds, so let's just watch through it one time at full speed.
Potential changes to moves in the post.
Big men in NBA 2K26 will now be able to leverage all new signature go-to post shots by holding up on the shot stick while in the post. Players can lean into a host of new moves, including shimmy floaters, baby hooks, and up and unders. Playing with your back to the basket is a lost art, but those who are able to master it can take advantage in the paint.
Tough. All right, let's go back. Let's take a moment and just slow it down and take a look at all these details. So the first thing that popped out to me right away is the background. All the fans in the back. This is the wall in the Clipper Stadium, which is super cool that they added. I really like that. It's a nice touch to just make it feel a little bit more lived in. I feel like usually every single arena that you're in feels pretty much the same, but adding the wall back here looks really cool. So that stood out to me first. And the next thing is the shot clock. We got the circle one coming in this season, and so they implemented that here in 2K. What do you guys think about this? I'm not really crazy about the circle shot clock. Maybe it's going to take some getting used to. But those are the first 2 subtle little things I noticed just from these clips. But let's let it play out and take a look at the way that Jokic is moving. I'll throw up a side-by-side from last year compared to this year, and you can tell it looks exactly the same. I wouldn't expect anything different in this game when it comes to maneuvering around the post. It's always felt a little clunky just maneuvering and trying to get around, and it looks exactly the same here. I wouldn't expect anything different. But then he gets into his signature post go-to shot, which for Jokic is the fake, the step, and then the hook. And something that just stands out to me right there is the shot meter. Did you guys see how that kind of glitched? Coming up right here, you see it glitch, and then it jumps back. I'm not sure what that's all about. Is that where he let it go, and that's what it would be if it wasn't a go-to shot, and then the meter, the boost that you get from it being a go-to shot just jumps it back all the way up to the top? I'm not sure. It could just be a glitch, but I thought that was something worth pointing out. But the main thing I wanted to talk about with Jokic's go-to shot here out of the post is, can I let go of the go-to shot and then step through here and finish going left? Which kind of has to do with, like, I mean, how good is close shot? Obviously, if it's not very good this year, kind of like last year, then maybe it won't be that viable to even go for. But I think that this go-to shot would be a lot more effective if he's able to cancel out of it, which last year was a big deal that you were able to cancel out of go-to shots. But to do that, you had to kind of like move the left stick in the direction that you want to go. Here you're stuck in the post, you're like pivoting, so I'm not sure if like moving the left stick's going to do anything to cancel it. And also you could rhythm shoot go-to shots in 25. So sometimes when you would try to push the right stick in a different direction, they're thinking that you're trying to rhythm shoot. So I wouldn't want the same thing to happen here. I'm hoping that when you just let go, it breaks the animation immediately. It was a little clunky this year, but if you could just break immediately, step through there, that would make it more effective. But what I feel more confident about is that you should definitely be able to just let go, and he's going to have to, he'll fake that hook. I mean, that's got to be in the game. And then off that fake, you can step through. So that is probably, I feel more confident that that'll be effective. Real quick, one other thing I noted here that I forgot to mention is they said this year's system is growing to better support the dominant big men we see in the modern NBA. This does lead me to believe that I think hooks are going to be effective this year. And hooks last year were just terrible. So obviously this hook from Jokic, this has got to be a greenable good shot, especially because you should be getting a boost because it's a go-to shot. But regular hooks should also be definitely greenable, compared to 25 where it was almost impossible to green hooks. So with that emphasis, I do think hooks are going to be strong, and I would expect close shot to also be maybe stronger than last year. Who knows? I mean, we'll see. Now this move from DeRozan, this looks super tough. I'm actually really excited, probably the most excited about that animation right there. They only showed us the second half there. Here we're getting into Brunson, which is another one that they covered. This was the third one. Those were the 3 post go-to shots that they covered in this video. And I'll come back to Brunson because I have just like a few brief thoughts on that, but most of my thoughts for this video really has to do with this right here. He takes that pound. Let's back it up and see it from this angle. Yeah, you see how far back he leans? So that pound first kind of creates some forward downhill pressure. And again, this all comes down to when can you cancel it? And that pound is going to be key. So I want to hop into NBA 2K25 real quick. I'm going to show you guys a little, I'll do a little demo to kind of try and simulate this little action, and I'll give you my thoughts. So let's jump in the game. All right, so we're on my Kobe build here in 2K25, and I threw on just a couple moves just to real quick try and simulate what it might look like. Obviously, this isn't the actual animation, but you could expect that it would look something like this. Obviously, a lot more smooth, and the way that he leans back, he just goes even. I feel like he leans back even further. DeRozan does, and this is only one of 3 post go-to shots that they're showing us. Hopefully, they have a lot more that are also really effective. But the reason why I really like this one is that I think it's going to just be a really strong move, especially for my 6'6" to 6'9" mid-post builds, which, like Kobe here, these are like my favorite builds. So I could see this being a really good option. If you consider that we have rhythm shooting, you have the green window boost from it being a go-to shot, you got legend post badges, you got jump shot boost, lethal zones. You consider all these factors, and I think that this move is just going to be so unguardable. And because it's going to be such a threat, I just think that this is going to be a perfect move to do a step through or to do an up and under, because I think that they're going to bite so hard on that post hop, because it is telegraphed with that pound dribble first. Especially if you're killing them with this like all game, then they know it's coming. Then here, watch, I'll simulate a little step through here. Pound hop, exactly that one. I love that animation there when he steps through like that. And then from here, you can get down with it like that. Some of my signature go-to moves that you've seen in my post guides, but I'm just excited because I think that this is going to open up a lot for us. This year I was getting a lot of defenders to jump by doing telegraph moves like a little shimmy and then step through, because again, you could just see it coming from a mile away. Or another one is if I were to switch to my Dirk build, then I would do Dirk's post hop, and that gets them to jump almost every single time, and then I can step through. I like what I'm seeing out of DeRozan specifically with the pound dribble first, because I like that it lets them know what's coming. And then it also snaps back really far and leans very far back with a super quick animation. So I just think it's great, and it's going to be good for setting up step throughs. I also think that a real big key here with this animation, and again, this applies to all of the post go-to shots, and it was, as I was saying earlier with the Jokic post go-to, how good is it for you to be able to cancel it? Like how responsive is the engine at recognizing that you wanted to cancel the go-to shot and maybe do something else? So something else that I was thinking here is you could pound, and then from here maybe you can go in another direction, like with Kobe's post hop. If I had that on, then I could start the pound, and then maybe I can switch, and then I could do a little post hop in the other direction. Maybe you could pound and then do a post spin. And so it's just throwing something at the defender that they see, and that they'll probably see a lot, because I think this is going to be an effective move. And then you have options out of that. So definitely keep an eye out for this one once the game drops. All right, let's rewind it back and watch a slowed down version of Brunson's post go-to shot here. I'm not so sure about this one. I mean, I think it does depend on the contest system and how effective this shot will really be, because how strong is that boost really that you're getting from your post go-to? For someone smaller, like a smaller guard like Brunson, the fact that he's doing like a little double clutch here, I'm just not really sure. I would probably guess that this Brunson animation here, I'm not really expecting it to be that effective. And like I was mentioning earlier, it also probably depends on how effective close shot is if you're doing this one closer to the basket. I do hope that it's effective, and I hope that I could pull this one out, because I think it's a cool animation. It's cool to play like Brunson. I love Brunson. But I just have my doubts about how effective it'll be. But before we wrap, that's pretty much all I got when it comes to the Courtside Report. But there are a few clips I wanted to show from the trailer that stood out to me related to the post. And we got one piece of information from Mike Wang on Twitter regarding the post. So I'll throw that up now. His tweet was that we made the ball extremely vulnerable to steals when posting up far from the rim to mitigate the L2 cheese. This is very concerning to me. I think immediately I'll think about like my Dirk build. If I were to try to post up, obviously I'm posting up far from the basket on Dirk, and I'm taking deep post fades. I mean, does this mean that I'm just going to get ripped immediately? Like, if we're playing against a zone, are they just going to crash down and immediately be able to get a rip? I feel like that's going to be a huge nerf to big men trying to post up. But I understand that they do need to address this problem, because L2 cheese was terrible. I guess we'll see. I just wanted to put that on our radars, that hopefully this doesn't make it so that you're getting poked every single time you try to post up, because then no one's going to want to post up, and all of these cool new things that they're adding isn't even going to matter, because the ball is just going to be very exposed. So I guess we'll see about that. And lastly, we got a couple clips here from the trailer. This first one was Jokic with like, it looks like he's doing his post go-to shot and then he wraps around and hits the corner. This looks really clean, but can we actually recreate this? Like, is it actually going to look like this in the game? And how do we do it? Do we need to have like all of Jokic's animations on, like his motion style, his post go-to shot, and his pass style? Because this looks very much like pro play, but I don't know if it's actually going to look like this, like what we're seeing here in the trailer. And then another clip was right here from Brunson. This looks like, I don't know if that's like another animation out of his post go-to or if it's like a post hop shot, but this is super clean. I love this. I'm actually super hyped about this. But I have to mention that last year, they put Brunson in the trailer. They said 9,000 new animations. They put his name up front on the trailer, and then we didn't even see them until season 7, and he didn't have any animations in the post. So obviously with all this stuff, we got to take it with a grain of salt, and we better be able to do this one. I mean, if they're putting it in the trailer, that exact move, we got to be able to do exactly that move, because that move looks fire. I mean, how effective it'll actually be or how easy it might be to block, I don't know. We'll see. But I just had to say that, you know, last year they did us dirty, and this year, hopefully they're not going to do that again. But that's all I got when it comes to the hidden details in the recent gameplay trailers regarding the post game. There's only so much we can gather from 30 seconds of footage or so, but it got me thinking about what could be possible with all these new features. Remember, this is just speculation on my part, my opinions, my thoughts, but as we get closer and closer to release day, 2K will continue to give us more to chew on in the meantime. And I'm hoping we get more news when it comes to these post go-to shots. You know, I'd love to see animations from Kobe, Dirk, Melo. Obviously, they better do Melo since he's on the cover, but you never really know with 2K. Anyways, I'll be remaking all those builds plus more this year, and I can't wait to see how creative we can get with this new post go-to shot mechanic. I was in the lab this year refining my game in the post because that's my favorite playstyle, so I'm happy to hear about any additions when it comes to that. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. What post go-to shot are you expecting to be in the game? What excites you from what we've seen, or do you have any concerns? That's all I got though. Appreciate if you made it to this point. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.